3 months ago, I released this video right here. In that video, I delved into the reasons why I thought that the at the time upcoming LEGO Smart Play line was going to fail. Now, as I'm recording this, it hasn't even been 2 weeks since the release of the Smart Play, and as you saw by the title of the video, I think that it's in a very bad spot and already failed. There is already so much negativity and controversy surrounding these sets, and as we can see by pictures online, these sets also are not selling at stores. That's why I can confidently say, even after just 2 weeks of their release, the Smart Play is just a big fail from LEGO. So I'm going to break down all of the problems and controversies with the LEGO Smart Play system, and then I'm going to possibly come up with some solutions that they could do to fix this. Smart Play is a new form of play that LEGO has introduced and comes with the all-new Smart Brick. Essentially what this brick does is that it has a bunch of lights and it makes sounds in it, and then you can link it up with specific smart minifigures and smart tags that will make different sounds and light up different colors. Well, the brand new Smart Brick seemed a little bit interesting to many people, being rumored almost a year ago. Unfortunately, after it was revealed, many people were very disappointed and upset with the Smart Brick, and they were not what a lot of people had envisioned. When the Smart Brick sets first got revealed, it was pretty obvious something was wrong. Initially, looking at a set like Vader's TIE Fighter, you may think it looks alright, but once people looked deeper into the images, it was pretty obvious that these sets looked bad because they needed to accompany the Smart Brick. The sets were fully compromised due to the inclusion of the Smart Brick, making it so essentially these sets could only be targeted towards little kids instead of the whole age demographic that LEGO is targeting currently. The second issue I want to bring up is that these sets are very expensive. Being targeted towards kids, the cheapest set that you can get is $70. And LEGO is already a very expensive toy, and I think that the Smart Brick lineup took this to the extreme. Along with the fact that these sets are exorbitantly expensive, alongside that there were some smart compatible sets which I feel have very deceptive marketing. These are a collection of 4 or 5 sets that had all of the functions, the smart minifigures, the smart tags that go alongside the Smart Brick, but they did not include it. Therefore, if you wanted the full functionality out of any of these sets, you needed to purchase a separate set with the Smart Brick, and I feel that this is very deceptive marketing, especially because LEGO doesn't sell the Smart Brick on its own, and you can't get the full intended use out of a set without purchasing something else. Additionally, delving into the actual capabilities of the Smart Brick, you may find them very disappointing, as did many other people. I think the idea of the Smart Brick was kind of cool, but unnecessary and very poorly executed. First of all, the Smart Brick is very basic and limited in function. Although it's a cool idea, I feel as if the technology might have just not fully been there yet. It's cool how it just essentially reads the types of smart tags to make the sounds, and it doesn't store anything on the actual brick, which adds a lot of future-proofing so you can use your Smart Brick in newer sets. But I don't think the technology was fully there yet, as it is a very hindered Smart Brick. For example, because all of these sets are Star Wars, you may expect that when the minifigures are supposed to be able to speak as they are smart minifigures and be able to talk, they just make these dumb sounds. And it just sounds like gibberish and nothing like what the actual characters sound like. Additionally, all of this just sounds very cheap and not well made and not like an official Disney licensed product where they had access to be able to use all of the official sounds, and it's just overall sounds terrible and cheap. And on top of this cheap feeling Smart Brick, it's added to with the fact that the new smart minifigures have these dumb looking half capes to save costs, as well as because there's a battery inside of them, it's required that by the government that they print like a little trash can on the side, which is pretty funny and has become kind of a meme. And all of this is on top of the fact that these are very expensive, especially for the target demographic of being children, and that nobody else wants to buy this unless you're a little kid. Like, These aren't cool sets to have. They look terrible as display pieces. Also, the quality going into these sets just isn't there. For example, in one of the product images, there's putty left in the photo holding the set down, as well as the Mos Eisley Cantina does not contain a Han Solo, which is absolutely absurd. You need to buy a whole nother set to have the iconic scene of Greedo and Han Solo. As well as this, you probably watching this video and I am obviously not the target demographic of this set, but it still definitely affects us. The reason this is because LEGO put a lot of time and money into these sets. They've spent so much money on marketing, as well as all of the time and money that they've devoted to developing the technology in the first place, just for it to be a complete waste. Alongside of it, these Smart Brick sets are taking up slots for other sets that we could have gotten normally, which is just really disappointing to see, as I think non-Smart Brick variations of these sets would actually be very good, that I think a lot of people would like. Just a lot of classic original trilogy sets that we haven't seen in a while. These sets, as I've said before, are just overpriced, gimmicky, and cheap, while at the same time outpricing the target demographic of kids and ostracizing the rest of the LEGO community. Now, before we move on, I just want to take a quick second to ask you to subscribe. It's free. I don't make any money from these videos. I put a lot of work into them, and I'm trying really hard to hit 1,000 subscribers. Additionally, LEGO have been marketing these sets like crazy, and the fact that they're spending this much money on marketing is just really disappointing to see, considering a lot of the other quality problems that LEGO has today. On top of that, LEGO hasn't even set these sets to the LAN network, the LEGO Ambassador Network, which reviews a lot of the sets that you see. And I believe the reason for this is concern that these people are going to speak badly about the Smart Brick sets, and I think that's very true, as in my opinion, they're just objectively very flawed. The fact is, they're overpriced, gimmicky, and as we can see by these pictures, like, they're just sitting on shelves. Nobody's buying these. These sets are not selling. They're just a waste of slot, like a slot where a normal set could be, and a waste of the amount of money LEGO has put into this new line. Now, I think there are like maybe 2 pros we can have from the whole Smart Play situation, and that's the fact that LEGO's trying something new, which I like. I can appreciate that, even though if it was executed very poorly. And second of all, that there aren't any like phones or screens involved in this, because I know when I made the first video, I mentioned that you may have to download another app, but I'm glad that that's not true, and it's good that people are staying off screens. Now here I'm going to go and brainstorm some solutions that I have for the current problems. First of all, I think that these sets are really bad and they should not be making any more Smart Play sets. And I think that they just need to stop marketing them so hard, just let this wave of them sell poorly and then discontinue the whole line. But I know in the big picture they probably have more Smart Brick sets planned for the future, so it's not always for sure that that's going to be able to even happen. Personally, what I would have liked to see is maybe wait a few more years, get the technology to be better, and have it be playing actual Star Wars sound so it doesn't just sound like this cheap knockoff. I think the real solution is just do not buy these sets, ignore them, they're going to sell poorly. I believe that this line is going to flop and completely fail, and it even has within the first 2 weeks of its release, and that in the future, hopefully LEGO will learn from this and maybe devote less resources to this thing that fails and put more into higher quality other things, less stickers, better clone troopers, the list goes on. But comment below your thoughts on the whole situation, on Smart Play in general, and if you think I was too harsh in the video. But that's all. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.